action heads to Belmont for the fall meeting. And the following is a Sports Channel double take.
Live from the Astrodome in Houston, Texas, Sports Channel presents New York Mets baseball. Tonight, the Mets take on the Houston Astros. Hello again, everybody. I'm Fran Healy, along with Ralph Kiner and Rusty Staub. We'll be bringing you the play-by-play tonight as the Mets take on the Astros in the final game of this three-game series. And on the mound for the Astros, a guy who has become a positive influence on the Houston ball club.
Well, he's become positive because he's won a lot of ball games. As a matter of fact, he had a streak of 9 consecutive wins, and he has done a great job after not being in the starting rotation early in the year.
So Darryl Kile on the mound for the Astros. You see him right there. He'll be opposed by a southpaw.
And that southpaw has been around a while. 21 years in the major leagues. Frank Tanana. He's pitched once against Houston and lost here in the Dome. And he'll be on the mound for the New York Mets with all the guile and cunning of a left-handed pitcher.
Well, a new player also joining the Mets for tonight's ball game.
It is Butch Husky, who was with the Mets in spring training, was very impressive in spring training. He played at Binghamton in the Eastern League and had a very good year there with 25 home runs and 98 runs batted in. He was second in the league in RBIs.
He was not supposed to be called up. All of a sudden, an injury to Bobby Bonilla in last night's ball game. And the Mets called him in Oklahoma and said, come on up, you're going to play in the big leagues. And I asked him, are you ready to play in the major leagues? And he said, we'll see tonight.
Well, he's made the fewest errors of any third baseman in the National League.
So it'll be the Mets with their new player, Butch Husky, on their roster against the Astros. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll give you the lineup. Well, the Mets starting lineup is brought to you by Connecticut Tourism. Connecticut, we're full of surprises. And for the Mets, Ryan Thompson, Jeff McKnight, and Eddie Murray. The middle three, Joe Ursulai, Jeremy Burnitz, and Jeff Kent. The bottom three, Butch Husky, Todd Hundley, and then Frank Tanana.
And Darryl Kile on the mound for the Houston Astros, 14-6 for the year. One of those wins against the Mets. And Ryan Thompson takes the first pitch for a called strike. Thompson hitting .235. 9 home runs, 19 runs batted in. He's 1 for 7 in this series, and he had an idea about bunting and a good curveball there for strike 2.
Yeah, he didn't look real comfortable attempting that bunt. A guy that can run like Ryan Thompson, I would work on that till I perfected it because he has good speed.
Infield way back now with a 2-strike count, and the pitch is the curve again, and it's a beauty, and Thompson goes after a bad pitch and strikes out on 3 pitches. And now let's take a look at the starting pitcher's stats, brought to you by Meineke. Darryl Kile with an earned run average of 3.33. This will be his 28th game, his 22nd game start. He's had 3 complete games, and 2 of them have been shutouts. The opposition hitting just .239 against him. Lifetime record of 26 wins, 27 losses. And he starts off with a 1-2-3 strikeout. That brings up Jeff McKnight in the fastball for ball 1. McKnight hitting .246. He's 0 for 6 in this series. And he has 1 home run and 9 runs batted in. And he hits a high fly ball to center field. Casey Candell, a center fielder tonight. And he makes the catch.
And a defense for the Astros. Bagwell, Biggio, Cedeno, and Caminiti in the infield. Left to right in the outfield, Gonzalez, Finley, and Anthony. Service behind the plate. Darryl Kile so far has shown an excellent curveball and an excellent fastball.
He has certainly done that. He won 9 in a row from May 29th to July 31st. He did not start in the starting rotation for Houston. He was a spot starter and a relief pitcher. And now working to Eddie Murray in the fastball, a called strike. Murray, a good series, 4 for 7. with 1 home run, now hitting .278 with 23 home runs and 83 runs batted in. He's had a good road trip. .435 on this road trip with 10 hits and 23 at bats. 2 of those hits home runs. Mets with a record of 47-92, and the pitch back to Murray, hit down the left field side, moving over the left fielder Gonzalez. And the Mets go in order here in the top of the first inning. The score after 1/2 inning on our Modal scoreboard. The Mets nothing in Houston coming up.
Well, the Astros lineup is brought to you by your Tri-State Ford dealer. Craig Biggio leads it off, to be followed by Casey Candell, who's playing center field tonight for the Astros. Jeff Bagwell, probably the most underrated player in the National League, batting third. The middle 3, Eric Anthony, Ken Caminetti, and Luis Gonzalez. Bottom 3, Scott Service, Andujar Cedeno, and then Darryl Kile.
And on the mound, Frank Tanana for the New York Mets, and Biggio showing bunt, taking for ball 1. Biggio 2 for 7 in this series, hitting .280 for the year with 18 home runs, 56 runs batted in. The 18 home runs, the most ever hit by a Houston second baseman. And the pitch back by Tanana, ball 2, 2 balls and no strikes.
And keep in mind, at one time, Joe Morgan was a Houston second baseman.
Biggio 5th in extra base hits with 59, tied for 3rd in 2 base hits with 38, and 10th in runs scored with 86. So he's having a fine year.
The only thing, when Joe Morgan played here, the dimensions were a little bit further away.
And the breaking ball in for a called strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Biggio, born in Smithtown, New York, lives in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Signed by Houston as the first-round selection in the June 1987 draft. That was right after hitting .407 with 14 home runs and 68 runs batted in as a junior at Seton Hall.
Seton Hall has provided the major leagues with some pretty good talent. Mo Vaughn.
Right off the end of the bat toward the first base side, and it goes into foul territory.
Mo Vaughn, I believe, was a player of the decade when he was at Seton Hall. Biggio, an outstanding player. Rick Cerrone, former catcher with the Mets and the Yankees, an outstanding catcher with Seton Hall.
Pretty good talent coming out of there.
They have a very good baseball program over there. Coach Shepard doing a fine job.
So the count 3-2 on Biggio, who last year had the most pitches thrown to him of any batter in the National League. And he hits a fly ball to right field, moving Burnett's back, and he makes the play. Now let's take a look at the rest of the starting pitcher stats. Frank Tanana, brought to you by Meineke. Tanana with a lifetime record of 239 wins, a 4.40 earned run average coming into this game. His 28th game start. He has not had a complete game, and the opposition hitting .275 against him. 0-1 against Houston. Last year with Detroit, he was 13-11. Now Casey Candell, the batter. And the first pitch, a called strike. Candell hitting .245, his first appearance at the plate in this series. He's had 1 home run. That was off Sid Fernandez on September 1st. He has 10 in his major league career. And he takes a called strike 2.
Plays a lot of positions. He's played 2 tough positions in this series, shortstop and center field.
And defensive replacements at those positions. And he takes outside the fastball that time. 1 ball and 2 strikes. His mother, Helen St. Alban, was a female hardball player in the league that was a professional league made famous by the picture A League of Their Own. And he grounds this one foul.
In fact, his brother put together a documentary on women in the major leagues, and Penny Marshall went on to direct an outstanding movie, A League of Their Own. But the whole thing started with the documentary, and then Penny Marshall was up at Cooperstown for more motivation.
And again, the 1-2 pitch. Again, it's fouled off. I asked Casey Candell if he had anything to do with that picture. He said nothing.
Well, his brother did a nice job with the documentary. I know that. Casey, of course, has more pressing problems. That's curveballs and fastballs in the major leagues.
When he used to get into a batting slump, he'd call his mother for advice. And that pitch bouncing in the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's funny how, for certain players, the mom was probably more important than the dad. Casey Candell for one. How about Evans?
Darryl Evans, his mother, a fine softball player.
And he used to call her for hitting advice. Eddie Matthews told me a story. It's a classic.
2 balls, 2 strikes to count, and the curveball hit to the first base side off of the glove of Murray. Hustles after it to throw to first base, not in time, and it might have been that Tanana was off of the bag.
Well, no, it looks to me, Ralph, like Eddie Murray handcuffed Tanana over at first base, and Frank said I should have had. You see him? You could see him say, "Nice throw." The ball handcuffed him. Pitchers are used to going over to first base and handling pretty easy throws. Now, this ball had to be thrown hard because it was a close play, and the ball literally handcuffed Frank Tanana at first base. That was the only thing Eddie Murray could do, and Frank Tanana knew that.
An error will be charged on that play. And we do not know as to whom it was charged against.
Probably Eddie Murray.
Should be Murray. He booted it the first time and lost a chance to make an easy play on that ball. And the first pitch to Jeff Bagwell is taken for ball 1.
You know, I mentioned Eddie Matthews, and he was telling me, I asked him how he became a pull hitter, and he said when he was a youngster, he used to take batting practice. And as he got bigger, he started hitting the ball harder, and his father was in the outfield shagging, and he told him, he said, pull the ball. He said, because if you keep hitting the ball up in the middle, you're going to hurt your mom. She was throwing BP. That's incredible. And he told me that's how he became a pull hitter.
And a good one. 512 home runs in his major league career, as Bagwell has a count of 1 ball and 1 strike and a toss to first. Bagwell, as Fran Healy pointed out in the beginning of this broadcast, one of the most underrated players in baseball, only because he plays here in Houston. Yeah. You don't hear much about him. He's 8th in batting, 4th in hits and RBIs, tied for 3rd in total bases, 2nd in multiple hit games and extra base hits.
And more importantly, he plays every single game.
Bagwell has played in 300 consecutive ball games, the longest streak other than Cal Ripken Jr.'s streak in the American League.
And he's become a good defensive first baseman.
And the runner goes with a pitch, but the ball fouled down the right field side. So Candell running with the play, and now back to first base.
This guy, Jeff Bagwell, is a complete player. Hits with power, hits for average, drives in key runs. He runs well, fields his position well. Nobody will really hear that much about him unless he leaves Houston or Houston wins.
Bagwell hitting .310 in the year with 20 home runs, 87 runs batted in. He's 1 for 7 in this series. And now Tanana back inside, just missing inside. The count goes to 3-2, and Candell, in all likelihood, will be running with the pitch.
And Bagwell's the type of guy, he has that personality where you could sign him to a 20-year contract, and he'll still play every day.
And Candell is running, and the ball is pulled foul.
Ralph, you gotta love this guy's swing.
He's got that short, compact swing, puts it on the ball in a hurry. In May, he hit .412 and was the player of the month of May.
And the ball jumps off his back.
He was originally signed by the Boston Red Sox, and he was traded to Houston for Larry Anderson, a relief pitcher, when Boston needed a pitcher for their run at the championship. And Candell almost picked off. He was. Candell picked off at first base by Frank Tanana, and that's one thing. You can't get picked off in a situation when it's 3-2 and you're just automatically running with the play.
He got leaning the wrong way. He got caught leaning the wrong way, and a good throw from Frank Tanana. With the U.S. Open on in New York, in tennis, if you can wrong-foot a guy, you're going to win the point. They wrong-footed Candell.
And now the pitch back is hit hard to third. Husky, the third baseman, picks it up, throws to first. It's in time, and a good stretch by Eddie Murray to make the play and complete the out. So no runs, an error, and no one left on base. And the score on our Modell scoreboard at the end of 1, the Mets nothing and Houston nothing. First pitch to Joe Orsulak as he shows bunt is taken in there for a called strike. Orsulak 2 for 6 in this series so far, hitting .289 in the year with 8 home runs, 31 runs batted in, and another quick strike for strike 2. Orsulak not too successful on this road trip. He's hitting .211 with 4 hits and 19 at bats. He started the road trip hitting .300, and Darryl Kile misses with a fastball in the count 1-2. Kile has won 8 and lost 3 in the Dome this year to go with his 14-6 record. One of the things about him, he leads all National League pitchers in hitting batters. He has hit 13 batters this year, and this ball is grounded to the second baseman Biggio and one away.
That's not really a bad reputation to have. You don't want it to get around a league that you're doing on purpose, but if you're a little bit wild and you do hit batters, it's a thing where a hitter's just not that comfortable at the plate batting against you.
And Met fans, this break in the action is a great time for you to break open an ice cold Budweiser and enjoy that fresh, pure, natural taste. Proud to be your Bud. Now Jeremy Burnitz is the batter. He's 2 for 5 in this series, and he takes a called strike.
Darryl Kile was selected in the 30th round by the Astros. That was back in 1987.
California boy. He's big and strong, and he misses inside with a breaking ball 1-1.
He's 6'5". He was listed at 185. Of course, that was a few years ago. They put that weight when you sign, and it never changes.
That was when he was playing Little League ball. Little looper to second base, caught by Biggio, and Burnitz is out.
You'll be hard pressed to find a lot of pitchers under 6 feet tall. For some reason now, when the scouts go out, they want to get a big, strong guy who they feel will last a long time. This kid is big and he's strong. He has a good fastball and a good breaking ball. With the Houston Astros last year, he was 5-10. Sometimes those early records in a guy's career, especially in the major leagues, can be misleading.
And the year before that, 7-11. And the first pitch to Kent, who had a home run last night to put the Mets up in the 10th inning, taken for a called strike. Kent now hitting .276. He's 2 for 4 in this series with that home run. And he has 17 home runs in the year with 61 runs batted in. Mets losing last night in the bottom of the 10th inning. And that ball fouled off 1-2. The Mets in their last games dating back to Saturday, their last 7 runs batted in have come on home runs. They have not driven in a run in that period with a base hit or a ground out or a fly out. And it's swung on and foul tipped into the catcher's glove, and the Mets again go 1-2-3. The score at the end of 1.5 innings. The Mets nothing and Houston nothing. Eric Anthony will lead it off for Houston. No score in the game. Bottom of the 2nd inning. Anthony in a batting slump. He's had just 3 hits in his last 33 at bats. Hitting .252 in the year. And he goes after the first pitch and pops it up. Third baseman Husky is there, and he makes the play. So 1 pitch and 1 away. Husky playing at third base. Bobby Bonilla, injured in last night's ball game, dislocated a partial dislocation of his left shoulder, and he will miss at least 10 games or more. He had played in every game for the Mets this year, 1 of 4 to do that. Bagwell was one of the others, along with Jeff Conine and Lenny Dykstra. Ken Caminetti, the batter, 4 for 6 in this series. Now hitting at .256, 11 home runs, 67 runs batted in, and Frank Tanana gets a strike. Caminetti has hit a home run in every National League ballpark with the exception of 1. And that's the easy one. Mile High Stadium in Colorado. This ball hit deep to left field. Orsulak back. It's going, and gone. Goodbye. Caminetti with a home run, and Houston takes the lead 1-0. 24th home run given up by Frank Tanana this year.
And the 12th home run of the season for Caminetti. Interesting swing right there. Looked like the ball was going to beat him. He brought his hands in and was still strong enough to pull the ball and hit it out.
Boy, that ball is really live this year.
That's an interesting swing right there.
And the batter is Luis Gonzalez, and he hits it in foul territory on the third base side. Long run for Husky, and he can't get to it, and it goes into the stands on the bounce.
Looks like Husky hurt his leg. On a home run, usually you try to keep a hit from getting his arms extended. Now watch Caminetti where he goes. Starts to swing, then brings the hands in, and then hits the ball. And the ball looked like it was on top of him, and he's strong enough, and he hit that ball a long way, Ralph.
He did that.
So you really think the ball is juiced up? How about 1930?
That ball went a long way. It was pretty heavy then, I guess.
What was the batting average for all teams?
The National League totally hit I think 303. There's a hard smash to right as Gonzalez drills at the right field and gets his average over 300. He was hitting 299. A career high 14 home runs and 63 runs batted in.
There's been a lot of talk about the ball being juiced up. A lot of home runs this year.
1930, Hack Wilson hit 56 home runs, still stands as the National League record, and drove in 190 runs. And Bill Terry of the Giants, the last man in the National League to hit 400, hit 401.
So you would have to think that the ball might have been juiced up that year.
Now Scott Service, the batter. And he takes a called strike. Service 0 for 3 in this series, hitting 250 on the year with 11 home runs, 32 runs batted in. He brings a 7-game hitting streak into the game. That's his career high. Batting .435 over the 7 games. And a toss to first base. Service in the game against the Mets on June the 6th had 3 two-base hits in the game to tie a club record. Gonzalez with 16 stolen bases, a runner at first, and the fastball outside. 1-1. Frank Tanana, 1 of 5 to play for the Mets at the age of 40. This is his 21st season in the major leagues. Only Nolan Ryan with 27 years and Charlie Huff with 24 years in the majors of the active pitchers have been around longer. Good play by Kent to start the double play as he gets it to McKnight, and the throw to first base ends the inning. 1 run on the home run by Caminetti, and on the Connecticut Tourism scoreboard at the end of 2, Houston won, the Mets nothing.
Now
we're going to the top of the 3rd, and the Mets trailing 1-0. We were talking about the fact that the Mets' last 7 runs batted in have all come on home runs, and 26 of their last 32 runs batted in, going back to August 30th, have been on home runs. So the Mets unable to put it all together in the hitting department, as Butch Husky will lead it off for the Mets, his first appearance in the major leagues, and a good fastball there by Darryl Kile for strike 1. Husky at Binghamton batted .251 with 25 home runs, 98 runs batted in. And the curveball freezes him, strike 2.
He's lost a lot of weight since we first saw him in the minor league camp a few years back.
Boy, he was heavy then, wasn't he? He slimmed down and is very trim. He had 11 stolen bases and a wild swing and a miss. And
well, good choice of pitches by the Houston Astros. When a kid comes to the big leagues, 25 home runs, hit around 250. You want to find out if he can hit the breaking ball. You get a guy a little bit anxious his first day in the big leagues, first at bat, pull the string with the breaking ball.
So his debut in the majors, a strikeout, and that brings up Todd Hundley. Todd 1 for 9 in this series, hitting .209 in the year with 10 home runs, 46 runs batted in. Had a home run in Chicago, and it was a grand slam home run, his first in his major league career, and he gets jammed by that one. Pandel comes up and he makes the play. So 8 in a row for Darryl Kile.
So far, the Mets have been either swinging and missing, or not being able to get the barrel of the bat on the ball with authority. Some defensive swings so far against Kile.
They're really looking at some pretty good stuff out here. This kid has a good curveball and a good fastball. Now the batter will be Frank Tanana. Tanana with 9 hits and 55 at bats, hitting .164. And he hits the first pitch in the air to left field. Gonzalez, the left fielder, there. And Kyle now has pitched a perfect 3. The score on our Model scoreboard at the end of 2.5 innings. Houston won, the Mets nothing.
New York.
Back here at the Astrodome, the 8th one of the world, and the Mets trailing 1-0 with Houston coming up. 1 run scoring on a home run by Caminiti when he was batting in the 2nd inning. Houston has won every game but 1 against the Mets this year. They are 10-1 against the Mets. And they need 1 more win to have a winning record at home. As Art Howe has his club playing good enough ball to be 16 games back at San Francisco in 3rd place.
About those Montreal Expos in the East.
Expos now 7.5 games back of the Phillies. They have won 11 of their last 12 games. And the batter is Andujar Cedeno, and he takes the curveball for ball 1. Cedeno 1 for 3 in this series, hitting .281 for the year with 6 home runs, 44 runs batted in. And a strike. 1-1. Frank Tanana, 47th on the all-time win list with 239 wins. Only 2 pitchers have won more of the active pitchers in baseball. Nolan Ryan with 324 wins and Jack Morris with 245. One ball, 2 strikes the count.
Hey.
And it goes to 2-2.
Hey.
Houston has been over 500 at home in 17 of their last 18 seasons. They are tough to beat in this ballpark, and that pitch a ball for a full count. In 1969, when the Mets were the world's champions, they didn't win a game here in the Astrodome. Three and 2. And it's hit down the right field line. Burnett's over there, and he runs out of room. So the count stays at 3 balls and 2 strikes. The Astros have won 3 in a row in 5 of their last 7 games, trying to clinch 3rd place in the National League West. 2.5 games ahead of the Dodgers, and that fastball fouled off, so the count again stays at 3 balls and 2 strikes. The Giants lead Atlanta by 2.5 games. They're 3 games up in the loss column. Giants with the best record in the National League, actually in baseball. They have won 89 and lost 49, 40 games over 500, and that pitch fouled away again. White Sox leading Texas by 5, Kansas City by 6, and Seattle by 8. And in the American League East, Toronto has lost 4 in a row, but they still lead the Yankees by a half game. Baltimore by 2, Boston by 6, Detroit by 6. And a drive to deep center field. Thompson has to go a long way. He can't get to it. It's off the base of the wall. And Cedeno goes in with a double.
Well, the Astros have always been high end. That guy right there, at times, A bit inconsistent offensively and defensively, but they are still high on Cedeno, who, as Ralph mentioned, batting .281 prior to that AB and hitting that ball a long way to center field.
So a leadoff double, and that'll bring up Darryl Kile, who has really struggled with the bat. He's 4 for 44. He'll be bunting here. Back in 1991, he was 0 for 38 for the season, the 18th pitcher to go hitless in the entire season with at least 30 at-bats. And he bunts it and does a good job on that one. Huntley over to Kent, covering at first base for the out. And a perfect sacrifice for Kile. Talking about pitchers who had the worst record for a season, Bob Buell went 0 for 70 in 1962 for Milwaukee and Chicago.
You have to be a good pitcher to go 0 for 70.
Bill White went 0 for 61 in 1950 for the Chicago White Sox. 0 for the season. That's a lot of at-bats.
70 at-bats.
Now the batter is Craig Biggio with a runner at third. The Mets play their infield in, and the curveball fouled away. Well, when Buell, I was going to say, when Buell went 0 for 70, they traded him in the middle of the season from Milwaukee.
You think it's because of his
because
hitting?
he wasn't hitting. Quite a pitcher, too. Part of that Warren Spahn, Lou Burdette trio. Bob Buell, who threw extremely hard, and that pitch inside, so it's 1-1. Infield in for the Mets for a play at the plate. They're trailing 1-0 as Houston bats in the third. And again, Tanana missing inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Biggio flied to left field his first time up. Cedeno, the runner at third base. And a wild swing and a curveball that was way inside, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. The ball popping out of the glove of Huntley, unfortunately rolling up the baseline, so Cedeno had to hold at third. Tanana with the loss to Houston here in the Astrodome earlier this year, and this ball popped up and playable into shallow center field. Making the play, the shortstop McKnight, and he holds the runner at third base after the catch. Now the infield can drop back. 2 men away, and the batter will be Casey Candell. Candell safe on an error his first time up. 0 for 1 so far tonight. Candell out of action in July with a sprained left shoulder. And he grounds this one up the middle, and it's a base hit. So Candell drives in the run. And Houston leading by a score of 2-0. Candell getting his 7th run batted in of the year.
Well, we talked about Candell playing some tough positions for utility players, short and center field in this series. And they're picking up a big base hit right back up the middle. Usually when you think of a utility player, you see him playing a little bit of second base, a little bit of short, maybe a little bit of third, left.
He plays the outfield too, and Jeff Bagwell the batter. Bagwell grounded out to third his first time up, and Tanana gets a strike. Bagwell 1 for 8 in this series against the Mets. He's never hit the Mets well. And he takes that pitch for a ball. That's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Maybe trying a little bit too hard. Bagwell from the University of Hartford. A lot of fans, a lot of friends, family watching going into Shea.
And the curveball gets the outside corner for a call. Strike 1 and 2. The last time that Houston was at Shea Stadium, they had a busload of about 60 people that he more or less influenced into coming to the ballpark.
They honored him.
Lives in Connecticut. This one drilled down the left field line, right field line, a base hit, extra bases. Candell running hard, rounding third, being waved in. The relay throw totally misses the cutoff men. There were 2 out there, and it was thrown all the way across the diamond. And Bagwell gets a run batted in as Candell scores on the double.
Well, I don't think there would have been a play at the plate, even though the ball missed the cutoff man. Here it is into the corner. Ball boy getting out of the way, doing a nice job of that. Now here's Jeremy Burnett says, I'm getting that thing into the infield. And I hope somebody's there. Nobody was there. Candell scored easily. And Jeff Bagwell cruised into second base with a double.
So it's 3-0 Houston. And the batter is Eric Anthony. Anthony popped up to third his first time up. Oh for 6 in the series. And the breaking ball outside for ball 1. Anthony, born in San Diego, now lives in Houston. And the curve way outside. Good play by Huntley. 2 balls, no strikes. When he was growing up in San Diego, the scouts were following him as he looked like he was going to be a fine major league prospect. As Huntley gets set to send the signs out. His uncle moved him out of San Diego and into Texas. Scouts lost track of him, and then Houston signed him as they followed him here in Texas. And that pitch, a big swing and no contact, 2-1.
You know, you saw Huntley block that ball before. If you're a catcher and you have to pick somebody you want to block the ball for, it would be Frank Tanana, because he has that slow hook.
Frank has made 7 wild pitches this year. And he goes back outside with the curveball and misses, and the count 3-1.
It's that biting slider that's tough to block, or a fastball that catches you by surprise. But that slow curveball, it's okay.
3-1 the count. And a strike call for 3-2. Houston has scored 38% of their runs with 2 men out. That's an extremely high percentage for scoring runs with 2 men out. And it's chopped out to the shortstop, McKnight. He'll have to hurry, and does, and gets his man. But 2 runs for Houston on 3 hits. 1 man left on base. And on the Modell scoreboard at the end of 3, Houston 3, the Mets nothing. Well, a man who has his number retired here at the Astrodome, in for the play-by-play, Rusty Staub.
Well, thanks for that, Ralph. I was unaware of that.
I retired it this afternoon.
I like it. I like it. Thank you very much.
Well, we'll talk about
me.
Montreal there, where it is retired.
Yeah. Darryl Kile has retired 9 batters in a row.
Come on, Ryan. Come on, kid.
He has been the dominant pitcher for the Houston Astros this year. 14 victories, only 6 defeats. Thompson waiting, pops it up and out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Mets have won only 1 game against the Houston Astros this year. This is the 12th meeting. It has been an overmatch.
They really lost a tough one last night, going ahead in the 10th and then losing it on an error in the bottom half of the 10th.
Strike 3. Kyle showing that incredibly late breaking curveball. Guys just collapse on it.
He's got a good one. That's his 4th strikeout. He's averaged 7.2 strikeouts per 9 innings. That's 6th in the National League, and with the stuff he's throwing here tonight, that average is going to go up.
He's looking good. McKnight flied to center. Thompson went down for the 2nd time this evening. Fastball misses. Ball 1. It has been a perfect game so far for Darryl Kile. They get 2-0. It's trailing by 3 runs. McKnight getting an opportunity to start again at shortstop position. Kyle falls behind 3-0. I'd like to make sure that I say hello to the Torch Relay group watching and celebrating tonight in New York. I know they're watching this game. Hope they have a good time. Remember they were at the stadium, Ralph, earlier in the year?
Yes, they were.
With the torch ceremony. McKnight gets the free pass. First base runner for the Mets. And Eddie Murray coming to the plate. Murray flying to left in his first at bat. 10 hits in 24 at bats on this trip.
Two of them have been home runs. Now has 437 in his major league career.
Kyle misses with 5 in a row. One of the problems in the pass for Darryl Kile was his control. He fell behind the hitters a great deal. Got himself into a little bit of trouble, but this year the story's been a little bit different. 57 walks and 140 2/3 innings coming into tonight's play. Another lazy high fly. Easy play for Gonzalez. 2 down. Pretty good ratio of walks to strikeouts, almost double the strikeouts to walks for Kyle. That's always an important category, I think. He has shown a tremendous breaking ball here tonight. Orsulak 0 for 1, a ground out to Biggio at second.
Kyle made the All-Star team, the only representative for Houston this year. He did not pitch in that game, but he was there.
A lot of people felt that with his record at that time, he should have been the starter. Strike called, showing that good breaking ball again. But even his lifetime record, as we said, he struggled in the early part of his career. Even with his 14-6 record, he is 1 under 500. 26 wins, 27 losses, lifetime. This could put him on an even scale here.
From Garden Grove, California. That's where he was born.
Orsulak waiting. He swings and misses that pitch. 0-2. The 9-game win streak that he put together was awesome. I was talking to Art Howe before the game tonight, and he said it was something to behold. It was a young pitcher coming into his own. They want it down and in. They get it, but it goes by, hits Orsulak in the foot. They're not going after the ball, and McKnight goes to third. They throw. He gets by the third baseman. He's going to come in and score. So if Orsulak was not hit by that pitch, the Mets are on the scoreboard.
Now Kyle is saying it hit the batter. They're trying to get the umpire to go along with that, and we'll see whether or not there's any shoe polish on that ball, and it's being checked out by Mike Winters, the third base umpire. He's now going to toss it to Ed Montague.
He's showing a dot.
No shoe polish.
He says that's just So the Mets have scored without a hit on a very unusual play. The defense felt that the ball hit the batter. Nobody went after the ball. McKnight scored by going to third. The throw to third got away from Caminetti. Art Howe is hoping for a change in the umpire's call, but I don't think that's going to happen, Ralph.
Now the umpire said, I didn't see any shoe polish on that ball, so he did not get hit. Orsulak goes out of the batter's box almost 40 to 50 feet away after he tried to get out of the way of this ball. Curveball right down in the dirt. Did it hit him on the foot? Ball now is kicked away by the catcher.
Service. Limping a little.
And he's out of limping. He's not going to argue the call as the Mets get a run. An error will be charged to the first baseman on the throw to third that allowed the runner to go in.
Again, another breaking ball. Check this from another ankle.
Here's another ankle is right. It hit him on the ankle, looks like.
Mets got a break right there.
Service kicks it all the way over to the screen. Nobody went after it. And finally Bagwell, after McKnight had broken down to second, picks it up.
It's that fly ball to Gonzalez. That will end the inning. And the Mets score on one of the more unusual plays of the year. So on the Modell scoreboard after 3.5, it is Houston 3, New York 1. Strike called on the first pitch of the inning. Ken Caminetti with the home run his last time up. Really slow off-speed pitch misses. 1 ball, 1 strike.
When you think of looking for shoe polish, you think of Cleon Jones when the Mets were playing in the World Series against Baltimore in 1969. The umpire said the ball did not hit him, and the ball was into the Mets dugout, and Gil Hodges, the manager, brought it out with shoe polish on it, and so they gave Cleon Jones first, and that led to a win for the Mets.
Fly ball, easy play for Thompson. 1 away. Fans, his copyrighted telecast is authorized under television rights granted by the New York Mets solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or the use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets and Sportschannel is prohibited.
To carry that a little bit farther, someone said that Gil Hodges always had 4 or 5 balls sitting around by the ball bag that had shoe polish on them, just in case that would come up. Where
sounds like a good after-the-fact story to me.
It makes a good story. I like it. Got to keep it in your repertoire.
1 down. Gonzalez shows bunt. Ball misses for ball 1. Gonzalez at 301 after singling his first time up. 8 hits in his last 21 at-bats.
First game of this series, he had 5 runs batted in to tie his career high.
Hard shot, but right at Eddie Murray.
You old bastard, you.
So Gonzalez hits it hard again. The Mets were standing there.
Catcher number 9, Scott Service.
Caminetti's the guy that's been hot too. He had 8 hits and 17 at bats before he flew out. The Astros offensively have done something rather surprising for them, and it has to do with extra base hits. Scott Service, we'll have to get to that in a minute. So that ends the inning, and on the Modell scoreboard after 4, the Astros lead the Mets 3-1. As we move to the top of the 5th, that means the Connecticut Tourism Home Run Sweepstakes inning. If the Met hits a home run in this inning, Lisa DeVito of Syosset will win a weekend at Ramada Inn in New Britain, where you will enjoy breakfast Saturday and Sunday and visit the New Britain Museum of American Art and the Youth Museum. I'll continue to tell you about this, because there's some extra things that Lisa might win. We'll check this first pitch out. It's a ball. Plus, Lisa will be eligible for the grand prize of the Deluxe Vacation Package in the Connecticut River Valley. Just for being chosen, Lisa receives a Connecticut Tourism Guide and a Sports Channel t-shirt. There's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. To enter the sweepstakes, send a postcard with your name, address, and phone number to the Connecticut Tourism Home Run Sweepstakes, P.O. Box 234, Woodbury, New York, 11797. Hard ground ball into the Astro dugout. And Jeremy Burnitz, 1 ball and 2 strikes, and he might have got one of them. Ball didn't bounce out quickly. Shook him up in there, you know that. Don't lie down too long, or Howe won't like that. Ground ball firmly, but Bagwell backs up, throws to Kile, and there's 1 down. Bagwell got that tough error on that odd play when he threw to Caminetti and the ball got through. Jeff McKnight scoring on that play. So a wild pitch and an error on the same play after a walk, and the Mets got on the scoreboard. They have yet to get a hit. Kent struck out his only time up tonight. Takes ball 1. It's only the 2nd error in the last 15 games that the opposition has made against the New York Mets. That's a pretty impressive record by the opposition. High fly ball, shallow left field. Gonzalez has it 2 down. And that will bring up the young Butch Husky. I'll tell you what, has anybody gotten 3 tougher pitches in his first at bat in the big leagues?
Welcome to
More
the
than
big
him?
leagues, yeah.
My word, he's got to be writing home about those 3. Darryl Kile is all over him with great stuff. And another breaking ball. He just kept feeding those breaking balls to Husky. We've talked a lot about that with some of the other young hitters, Jeremy Burnitz, etc. Now he gives him a fastball and Husky misses it. Pardon me, Husky missed it.
Won a couple of games for the Mets in the 9th inning in spring training. Made some good impressions on the Mets with his play in spring training this year.
Well, he had a fine season. Get a chance to see a little major league pitching. Kyle wastes that pitch. 1-2.
Against Atlanta, he had a 2-out 9th inning 2-run home run to give the Mets a comeback win. That was off of Jay Baylor.
Let's see if this is the breaking ball. Oh my word, yes. But this time he gets a little piece.
And then he won another game for the Mets with a 2-out 9th inning base hit that gave the Mets a 6-5 win with a single to center field off Mitch Williams of the Phillies. So he had an impressive spring. Went to Binghamton in the Eastern League, a Double-A league, and hit 251 with 25 home runs, 98 RBIs. Wow, got a break there.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Kyle started to walk off the mound, but did not get the call. Ed Montague said it missed. Not this one. Another good breaking ball. He gets his 5th strikeout of the evening, Darryl Kile does. And on the Meineke scoreboard after 4.5 innings, the Mets trail the Houston Astros 3-1. Andujar Cedeno leads off the bottom of the 5th in. And it's a ball. That is Joe Sambito, recently elected to the Houston Orbiters Hall of Fame. That took place yesterday. He and Enos Cabell were elected to the Houston Hall of Fame here in a nice ceremony.
And you're a member of that Hall of Fame here in Houston.
Yes, I was very fortunate to have that opportunity. That fly ball again deep to center field by Cedeno, up against the fence and out of the ballpark, I think. Yes, home run in dead center field. Andujar Cedeno got a double off the center field fence his first time up. That time he hit it out of the ballpark. I think you're right, Ralph. But that ball, I'm with you on that. That'll make it 4-0. I mean 4-1. Gee whiz.
Well, Thompson made a good try to get up there high enough to keep it from going over, but he just couldn't do it. That is the 25th home run given up by Frank Tanana this year. For Cedeno, his 7th homer of the year.
Darryl Kile pops it up to the infield. Eddie Murray waiting. The Mets have one out. Andujar Cedeno twice now. Once against and once over the center field fence. Showing power to central. Biggio was 0 for 2. He has flied to right field and popped up to the shortstop. Swing and a miss. We'd like to remind you that Mets baseball is brought to you by Chemical Bank. Chemical, the human touch, the financial edge. The edge right now to the Houston Astros. They are leading 4-1. Strike 2 called. Popped up and out of play. Zayas Manzanillo warming for New York.
Tanana will bat in the next half inning for the Mets, so they're looking ahead.
Frank decides to hold up. Mets will return home after this game. Have tomorrow off. The Astros will have tomorrow off also. And as the Mets go home, the Astros will go on the road. They'll play a few games in Philly and then go on to Colorado for 4. Ball's in the gap. Down that left field line and diving in the second base with a double. And his first hit of the ball game is Craig Biggio. So he got out in front of that.
39th double hit by Biggio, and he drills it against that fence in left field. Orsolak plays it cleanly, throws in, but Biggio has that outstanding speed. He had 25 stolen bases when he was a catcher for Houston. They liked him so well with that speed that they wanted to keep it there.
Brings up Casey Candel. He's 1 for 2. We said the Houston club will go on the road. The Mets will go home. Off-speed pitch misses. 2 balls, no strikes. The tailgater has joined Manzanillo. They figure they may have to use someone in this inning. Condell in the driver's seat. 2 balls, no strikes. Pickoff attempt. Biggio back easily. We talked about this during the series, that Biggio, who moved to second base because they wanted him to be able to steal bases and maybe have a little bit longer career, has stolen 14 bases, but he's had a terrible year in that category. He's been thrown out 17 times. He'll try to go to third. Strike called on the outside corner. 2 balls, 1 strike.
John Waltham has the most stolen bases of any catcher in Major League history, 36. Biggio had 25 as a catcher for Houston.
Tanana making sure that he does not sneak one in right here. At least he's trying to. Ground ball off the glove of Tanana. That's a break for the Mets. Nice play by McKnight to be there. If Tanana had not hit that ball, it probably would have gotten through the infield and another run would have scored. As it is, that runner goes to third, and it's a 1-6-3. Two men out, and Bagwell coming to the plate. Bagwell a ground out and an RBI double. And Tanana should not give him very much to hit right here. We'll see what happens.
Left-handed batter on deck and a left-hand batter in the slump, so Bagwell, who can really do some damage, is going to have to really work to get a base hit here.
That is Eric Anthony. He has 3 hits in his last 35 at bats. So in this game, you cannot let Bagwell be the guy to hurt you. And he has an RBI double in this game. That pitch misses, ball 1. 319 on the season now for Bagwell. Sometimes when you're on a team that's not in one of the medial capitals, you don't get the kind of publicity for the kind of player that you are. He has been a superlative player for at least 3 seasons now. Two balls, no strikes. Be surprised if Tanana gives him a fastball here. If you're the hitter, that doesn't mean you can't think that same way. He hits the curve, hits it firmly, but right at McKnight. Over to Murray. And the Astros score 1 in the bottom of the 5th inning. After 5, they lead the Mets 4-1. You're looking at Ced Landrum, who will hit for the pitcher. He is in the on-deck circle. Todd Hundley at the plate. And Todd, it's a high fly ball, fairly deep center field. Handel back just before the warning track. 1 down. He was back on the handle there, wasn't he, Ralph?
It looked like he might have been up there about an inch.
I don't know, maybe we can get a little peek at that if you find that, guys. Right on
down
the
there,
end.
yeah.
Yep. And a lot of discussion about him not doing that. He had that little black rubberized thing that you place over the handle so that you can get up on the bat and have that same feel. Ced Landrum hitting. Showing bunt, he takes ball 1.
He's 3 for 12 as a pinch hitter. The Mets, as a team, with their pinch hitters hitting .277 with 63 hits.
Strike called. Speaking of hits, the Mets don't have one. In the top of the 6th inning with 1 out. They scored their run on a walk, a wild pitch, and an error. Little looper going back, and he's there. Luis Gonzalez. A little soft liner. How about that little grip there, Ralph?
I have never seen anybody in the history of the game of baseball ever do that. Something that he evidently feels can help him. He does curl that finger down around as the pitch is on its way.
Thompson for the 3rd time. Swing and a miss, strike 1. He went down on strikes in both the 1st and 4th inning.
Now watch him. That finger that's pointed up the bat will slide down into a crooked position.
Thompson gets a piece of this one. It's fairly deep in center. Easy play for Casey Candell. Through 6, the Mets nary a hit. It's been all Darryl Kile. Mets trail 4-1. We'll be back after these words. Well, as you see on the Modell scoreboard, Mets trailing 4-1. They do not have a hit in this ball game. Darryl Kile has been mesmerizing the Mets. 5 strikeouts. He's walked 1.
And we have a new pitcher in the game for the Mets, Josias Manzanillo. He's 0-0 in the year with no saves. This will be his 6th game. He's worked 9 in the 3rd inning. He's given up 6 hits. One of them a home run. The opposition hitting just 188 against him. And he has relieved Frank Tanana.
He will face Eric Anthony as his first batter. Houston Ball Club, on the other hand, has 7 hits and 4 runs. Trying to sweep the series here in the Dome against the New York Mets. Manzanillo delivers. Ground ball right at Kent. It's a little short hop. 1 down. The Astros have won 10 of 11. Ken Caminetti coming to the plate. A home run and a fly out. The home run hit is a right-handed batter. Now facing Manzanillo from the left side. He's been hot. Ball 1. We're talking earlier in the game about these Astros, Ralph. They have been noted as having low home run totals, low extra base hit totals. Not this year. Coming into tonight's play, they have out extra base hit the opposition 400 to 306. That's incredible. That's almost 100 more extra base hits than the people they've played against.
That is amazing. They have 121 home runs. That's 7th in the National League. But they're getting some good production in extra base hits from Biggio, Bagwell, Gonzalez.
Lots of doubles and triples. Got to have a lot of doubles. Caminetti holds his swing. No, he does not. At third base, Mike Winter says he went around. Fans are not happy.
We'll take a look at it. Did he swing or didn't he? Yeah, he certainly did. Biggio with 39 doubles. Bagwell with 36 doubles. Caminetti with 29 doubles. Gonzalez with 29 doubles.
Count still 2-2.
Cedeno with 20 doubles. They have quite a few triples, too.
They can get after it. Pretty good team speed on this club, and obviously with the turf here in the Dome, some of those balls get through the outfielders.
Finley leads the league in 3 base hits with 10. He's not playing tonight.
Manzanillo comes in hard inside. It's a full count. Houston trailing the San Francisco Giants by 16 games. They have been in 3rd place for quite a while this year. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Manzanillo, it's his first strikeout. First strikeout in the game for the Houston Club. I'd like to remind you that Saturday it's the Chicago Cubs against the New York Mets on Dynamets Day. That's Saturday afternoon at 1:30. Don't forget Fran Healy and the Subaru Mets on Deck show starting at 1:15. That is all live and exclusive right here on Sportschannel.
That Dynamits Day is going to be a big day for kids. They can get out and run the bases if the weather permits. We understand it's been raining all day in New York today.
Swing and a miss. Strike 1. Yeah, after the game, weather permitting, kids can run the bases. You going to go out there with them, Ralph? You're going to
I've been around those bases enough times in my career.
Out of play. Strike 2.
I imagine Fran Healy will be out there. He likes to do that.
I could see Fran doing that, donning the spikes and just scampering around those bases.
Never forget the first spring training day that the Mets had in 1962. Casey Stengel took the entire club around the bases. And he started out by saying, this is first base, and when you get to first base, you go down to second base, and when you get to second base, you go down to third base, and when you get to third base, you come home. That's the way this game is played. That was the first day of spring training.
When they get the basics in, huh? Make sure everybody at least knew which way to turn. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Luis Gonzalez right at 300. He singled, and then he hit a line shot right at Eddie Murray. 1 for 2 on the evening. Takes that pitch, full count. The story in this game is Darryl Kile with a no-hitter through 6. Fouled straight back, still 3-2.
A long time ago, when San Diego first got into the league, they had a pitcher named Clay Kirby that had a no-hitter, but he had given up a run. They took him out for a pinch hitter.
And after 8 innings, was it?
After 8 innings. And Buzzy Bavasi, the general manager of San Diego at that time, really got unhappy about that.
We'll continue that story as we come back. 3 up, 3 down in the bottom of the 6th. Astros lead the Mets 4-1. The Astrodome in Houston, Texas. Top of the 7th inning. Mets trailing 4-1. We're talking about Preston Gomez, the manager, taking his pitcher out after 8 no-hit innings. The pitcher was Clay Kirby. Buzzy Bavasi was very unhappy with that, but not unhappy to come in and do the play-by-play is Francis Xavier Healy.
Okay, Rusty. Yeah, that was a famous baseball story.
In fact, Preston Gomez did that a second time right here in the dome.
Preston just didn't like no-hitters, I guess. And you're looking at Jeff McKnight with the 1-0 count. He's batting .244 right now. He hits a high fly ball, shallow left field. Gonzalez coming in and makes the grab for out number 1. McKnight 0 for 2 on the evening. Darryl Kile featuring some real good stuff tonight. So good. The Astros are in charge, 4-1.
You can bet at this time in the game that Mr. Kile is extremely aware of the fact that there's a major 0 in that hit column.
I love it. Pitchers don't really focus on it. As you look at Eddie Murray, swung on a miss, strike 1. Murray batting .277 in this ball game. He flied to left field both times up. I remember when David Getty threw his no-hitter, Mel Allen and I were doing a game on Sportschannel, and I mentioned it a few times. Dave said he was in the clubhouse changing his shirt, almost had a heart attack, and he hurt. 0-2 now on Eddie Murray. Darryl Kile has no-hit stuff. He's had it from the get-go. Good fastball, good curveball. Big breaking curveball. Reminds me of Steve Busby, who threw 2 no-hitters.
You caught those.
Yes, I did. Had nothing to do with it. And there's a line drive. Nice play by Caminetti. He throws anyways. It was caught on the line, so 2 men are gone.
That's a good play by Caminetti. He showed that he had it, but he still didn't stop and not throw. Eddie hits a line shot. Caminetti snags it. He says, look, I got it, but I'm not taking any chances whatsoever, and he throws the first anyway. Close play. Might have been a little trap job.
Yeah. He had a guilty conscience. That's why he threw.
He got the call, though, at third.
Joe Orsulak, the batter. He's 0 for 2. Grounded out and fly to left. Ground ball is short. Cedeno long throw. Got him! Outstanding play by Cedeno. Orsulak not happy, but Kile still has his no-hitter. And we've played 6.5 here at the Dome. The Astros are on top of the Mets on the Modell scoreboard. And Dallas Green not happy. Joe Orsulak has been tossed by Bruce Fleming. Dallas is about to get the heave-ho also.
Let's check the play again. Cedeno in the hole, doesn't plant, turns, gets incredible velocity on this ball. It's down, it bounces, and I'll tell you what, Orsulak's out.
That's a great play by Bagwell.
It was. Bagwell picks it up. You'll see it even better this way. Here's the throw. Bagwell will scoop it up, and he's got it right there, and he's not on the bag, and that's a great call by Hirschbeck. A lot of emotion. Mets want to get a hit. I don't know exactly what Orsulak said after the fact, but the second base umpire, not the first base umpire, threw him out of the game.
So Dallas Green making his way into the dugout. Orsulak is now in the clubhouse. Dave Gallagher will go to left field. Now, will Gallagher be the one to get the first hit of the game?
That'd be something.
Number 8, Dave Gallagher.
So a tremendous play by Caminiti, followed only by a maybe even better play by Cedeno.
Darryl Kile likes his defense because he's featuring a no-hitter as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Scott Service will lead it off. He'll be followed by Cedeno and then Darryl Kile. 4-1, the Astros on top of the Mets. 7 hits in this game, all of those hits by the Stros. First pitch to Service, ground ball to the right side. Murray makes the play. 1 down. By the way, if you're thinking back, the last no-hit game thrown by an Astro was Mike Scott.
That was the final. That was the game that cinched the championship. What was that, in 86?
In 1986 against the San Francisco Giants.
Yep. That was the Western Division cinching game. That was Mike Scott's number.
And you're looking now at Andujar Cedeno, who just made that brilliant play. He takes a breaking ball from Manzanillo outside, ball 1. So Cedeno batting .284. Unable to check his swing.
He's having quite a night. Saved the no-hitter, double, home run.
So it's 1-1 on Cedeno. 1-2. Good fastball right there. So 1 ball and 2 strikes on Andujar Cedeno. And the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Manzanillo featuring a good, hard, moving fastball. By the way, a reminder, tomorrow on At the Plate with my colleague Rusty Staub. Join Rusty and his guest Donald Fear of the Major League Baseball Players Association. That's At the Plate with Rusty Staub tomorrow night at 8. Live and exclusive on Sportschannel. Should be a great show. Donald Fear will ask a lot of pertinent questions that Rusty will be throwing at him concerning the state of baseball. As Darryl Kile steps in, hits a ground ball to the right side. Kent to Murray, and that'll do it for the Stros. But the eyes of Texas are on that man right there. We go to the top of the 8th inning. Kyle with a no-hitter, and the Astros on top of the Mets on the Modell scoreboard, 4-1. Oh, you're looking at Darryl Kile. He needs 6 outs for a no-hitter. He won't want to rely on his bullpen tonight. And now for the relief pitcher stats, brought to you by Rolaids. Rolaids spells relief. In the American League, Montgomery leading all pitchers with 114 points. Ward of Toronto with 104, and then Hinkey of Texas with 89. In the National League, Beck leading the charge with 117. Lee Smith with 111 won't win it because he's not going to get any more points in the National League. He's now with the Yanks in the American League. And Harvey of Florida, 109. So the Rolaids relief stats brought to you by Rolaids, a coveted award by all relief pitchers. But here in the Dome in Texas, it's a starting pitcher. He's under the spotlight. Darryl Kile working on a no-no. Jeremy Burnett's leads it off. Curveball, strike one on the Met right fielder. Burnett's popped to second and grounded to first. The 0-1 pitch to Burnett's. Strike two. He's got nasty stuff right now. He's had it throughout this ball game.
This is not a good time to be taking any close pitches if you're a Met hitter. Especially when speaking with 2 strikes.
Strike three. A good curveball from the big right-hander. 1 down.
6 strikeout. I warned him. Can't be taking anything close right now. Well, he has featured a tremendous hook. That's right down the chute.
Here's the K corner. And Jeff Kent will step in to face Darryl Kile. What a Jim Abbott showed me something the other day. He threw a no-hitter and then he took his catcher out there to take a bow. Never seen that before.
Nice move.
Oh, he really showed me something. That has to be one of the greatest stories in the history of sports. That young man throwing a no-hitter. Hard hit ball right at Cameron. 2 down.
Ken smiling. He's not happy, but the situation is there. Well, he hits a shot. And this time it is a catch.
Kyle needs 4 outs. You think he knows that?
Huh.
Butch Husky, first game in the major leagues, takes outside, ball 1. Well, if he breaks up the no-hitter, will Kyle be mad at Bobby Bonilla?
If he hits a fastball, he will be, because he has not taken a good swing at a breaking ball yet.
Struck out both times. There's another breaking ball. Well, you'd have made an outstanding catcher. You know that? 1-1 on Butch Husky. There's the 1-1 pitch, another breaking ball. 1-2.
Now, he's already wasted 1 fastball. Let's show it to him.
Would you do it again?
No.
Throw him the hook. You wouldn't throw him the hitter.
I would not. I wouldn't waste anything else. He's got 2 down there.
And there's the curveball, strike 3. Darryl Kile through 8. A no-no. We played 7.5 here at the Dome. Houston 4, Mets 1 on the Modell scoreboard.
Fans, join us Sunday, September 12th for the Candid Litho Rising Stars Poster Day. Everyone attending the 1:40 p.m. game against the Cubs will receive a full-color poster of such up-and-coming stars for the Mets as Jeremy Burnitz, Tim Bogar, Ryan Thompson, and Jeff Kent, all courtesy of Candid Litho. Plus, all fans 14 and under will receive Rookie League magazine for kids filled with fun articles and activities, all courtesy of Major League Baseball and the Mets. And fans make plans to be at Shea on Sunday, September 26th. It's Fan Appreciation Day, and tickets will be drawn throughout the 1:40 p.m. Mets Expos game for great prizes, including weekend getaways, automobiles, gift certificates, and more. For all ticket sales and schedule information or to charge tickets by phone, call the Mets ticket office at 718-507-TIXX during business hours.
Darryl Kile. You know he's trying not to think about this no-hitter. So what's he do? He sits next to the catcher.
Why not? They're in this together.
You know, it's funny being involved in a no-hitter. There's an excitement. There's an added excitement for the defense. You always want to play well defensively, but right now there's an added excitement for the Astro defense.
So you don't think this is like that story with Tom Lasorda with who was that, Pedro Guerrero at third?
That's a great story. When Steve Sachs was having the problem.
What are you thinking about? Please don't hit it, Steve. By the way, please don't hit it to Sachs either.
That's a classic.
Oh, that was a great move.
Greg Biggio steps in. Zayas Manzanillo's first pitch is up high, ball one. The score is 4-1. Houston on top of New York. If you just tuned in, stay with us, because the Astros have 7 hits with those 4 runs, and there have only been 7 hits in the game. There's so far the start of the game, Darryl Kile, as Biggio takes ball 2. 2-0 on the Astros second baseman. Darryl Kile having quite a season for the Astros. In a year in which the Astros thought they'd get a lot of production out of 2 free agents, Kyle's been their star. There's a strike, 2-1. Greg Swindell and Doug Dravic signed as free agents. And the 2-1 pitch to Biggio. Fly ball to right field. Burnett's in pursuit and gloves it. Now let's take a look at the Meineke National League leaders. Extra base hits. Bonds with 74. Bichette 68. Williams 63. 2 Astros. Bagwell and Biggio. Bagwell with 61. Biggio with 60. And the batter now, Casey Candell. Candell in this ball game has a single, scored a run, drove in a run, and fouls the ball off. He's 1 for 3. We've talked about Darryl Kile on the other side of the field. A no-hitter against the team is somewhat embarrassing. Outside, 1-1, no matter how good the stuff is from the pitcher. It's a no-hitter. The team feels embarrassed. 1-1. Swung on and missed. 1-2. You ever been on the other side of a no-hitter?
Yes, I have.
Nixon a hit, will you? Were you in the lineup?
A couple of times, yeah. I told you the story about Heilecki.
Oh, that's right.
Guy couldn't walk the next day.
That's right.
They gave him an error.
Pulled foul. In fact, a funny story to that is at the Hall of Fame when you were in a room and Reggie Jackson was talking about guys with a lot of hits and he mentioned you. He gave you 1 extra. You turned to the people in the crowd. The people at your table said, that's okay. That was a hit off Heilecki anyways.
It was. I said that. You're right. I didn't know you caught that one.
Foul out of play. So we'll do it again at 1-2.
I said Reggie was right all the time.
That's right. Out of all those hits, you still remember that one, huh? That's
funny. When it turns out to be a no-hitter, you know, I mean, the world was in my locker after the game asking me about it.
Down low.
And I was my diplomatic self.
Well, I'll bet. You know, here in Texas, when I was at the Royals, I broke up Jim Bibby's no-hitter. And he had a 1-hitter, and he went on about 2 starts later and threw a no-hitter. He'd had 2 in the same season. Pulled to the right side. Murray knocks it down. Manzanillo covers first, and the ball's thrown by Manzanillo. But Candell will hold on at first base.
You see how they score that. He has already gotten on base on an error by Murray earlier in the game. No call yet.
I'll get a pinch runner. So Finley out to run for Casey Candell. And as Finley adjusts his gloves, now let's take a look at today's AT&T Eye player. It's Jeff Bagwell. AT&T salutes this individual because you're not the same as anybody else. There's the eye plan. Eye is for the individual. University of Hartford, he hit .413 career-wise, 2-time ECAC Player of the Year. And he's been carrying on here in the major leagues. Jeff Bagwell batting .319 right now. He has a double in this game and an RBI. He takes down low.
And they did give an error on the play.
So 1-0 on Bagwell. There's the story tonight. Darryl Kile. He needs 3 outs for a no-hitter. Outside to Bagwell. 2-0.
Manzanillo had retired 7 in a row for that error. He has looked good tonight.
And the 2-0 pitch to Bagwell. Right back up the middle. Base hit. Finley will hold on at second base. Astros have runners on first and second. Here in the bottom of the 8th, they have a 3-run lead.
And is this young man struggling? 3 for his last 36.
Eric Anthony takes down low. Ball 1. Anthony in this ball game 0 for 3. He's been struggling, and Art Howe keeps batting him in the 4th slot, trying to keep that confidence up. Pulls the ball to the right side. Foul ball. Talking about him struggling. Even though he's struggling, he has 9 home runs and 26 RBIs in his past 50 games. Talking about Eric Anthony.
He had a really good surge and then just completely fell off. Life in the big leagues, it's rough.
Oh boy.
Just when you think you have it conquered, you've got your act together. 3 for 36.
You got to be a pretty strong manager to keep running them out there. The 1-1 pitch. There's a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Come on, man. Come on now.
31 home runs in the last 31 games for Houston. How long has it been since you've talked like that about the Houston Astros? Averaging a home run a game.
And there's strike 3 to Anthony. That's what happens when you are in a slump. Well, there you got Scott Service, the catcher with the Astros. He's probably thinking, he's got to throw a no-hitter, and I can take the credit. You got to think ahead. You feel pretty good as a catcher calling the pitches when somebody throws a no-hitter. And there's the guy who's throwing it so far, Darryl Kile.
That was the 4th strikeout for Manzanillo. Obviously, everybody's talking about Kyle, but Manzanillo having a very good evening.
And the batter now, Ken Caminetti. He's having a pretty good evening himself. He has a home run. Made some nice plays defensively. One of the better third basemen in the game today. Takes down low. 2-0.
Whenever discussions are had about the guys that throw the ball the hardest in baseball, Caminetti's name comes up at 3rd.
Throws the ball very hard. One time voted the strongest throwing arm in the National League in the infield, overlooking Sean Dunston. The voters were. 3-0 on Caminetti.
You forget that day that Sean Dunston got that little slow hopper and fired that ball to Grace. Grace wanted to kill him. He liked to kill Grace. A bullet.
That'd be tough to give the nod to Caminetti over Dunston's arm, but He walks here, so the Astros have the bases loaded here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And they're anxious to get to the top of the 9th. Because of that guy right there, Darryl Kile. He needs 3 outs for a no-hitter.
His teammates were sitting next to him. A lot of times, the guys, nobody will go near you.
No, you don't want to say the wrong thing. Luis Gonzalez, the batter, he's 1 for 3. He singled in this game. Ground ball up the middle. Kent knocks it down. 2 runs will score. So a base hit for Gonzalez. 2 runs come around to score. Caminiti goes to third, and it's 6-1 Houston. And Manzanillo's hurt.
He's looking back at the mound as though he might have caught a spike.
He's got to come out of the game. He's in too much pain.
They're yelling at Tailgater to go directly to the mound. They're going to have to carry him. That is not a good sign.
Damage to his ankle. Sam McCreary, the assistant trainer.
So how will this delay in the game affect the no-hitter?
Very good point. We'll find out. But this call to the bullpen is sponsored by New York Telephone, who reminds you we're all connected.
Well, Dave Tailgater has started taking his throws. He's going to get as much time as he needs, obviously. He has a 3-2 record, a 5.85 earned run average. This is his 21st game. In 52 1/3 innings, he has given up 66 hits, walked 10, and struck out 26. Tailgater. He will face Service and then Cedeno.
Darryl Kile trying to throw a no-hitter against the Mets. He will join a pretty good group of pitchers. First no-hitter against the Mets, Sandy Koufax back in 1962. Jim Bunning in 64. Jim Maloney pitched no-hitter in 65. Mets won the game in the 11th inning against Jim Maloney. Darryl Kile right there, a little bit concerned about that fingernail. Bob Moose in 69. Bill Stoneman in 72. Do you know who the next guy is? In 1975? Healy.
That was the game.
That was the game. He's still not over it.
I'm over it.
Okay, so you're comfortable. There's Scott Service, who's very uncomfortable right now, as the batter. He pulls the ball to left side. Husky knocks it down, picks it up, the long throw to first. Safe at first base. So an error on Butch Husky. So it's now 7-1 in favor of Houston with 2 men gone here in the bottom of the 8th. 3 runs across here in the 8th. And the batter now, Andujar Cedeno. He's homered, doubled, scored 2 runs, struck out, made a superb defensive play to keep the no-hitter intact. Pulls the ball to Husky. He'll take it himself. And that'll do it for the Astros here in the bottom of the 8th. But everybody anxious here at the Dome as Darryl Kile will go back to the mound here in the top of the 9th, and he's featuring a no-hitter on the Modell scoreboard. We played 8, and it's 7-1 Astros. We go to that top of the 9th inning. The story here in the Dome is that man right there, Darryl Kile. You're watching all the action tonight right here on Sports Channel. It's 7-1, Houston on top of the Mets.
New center fielder in the game is Finley. And remember, he has had a long inning with the injury to Manzanillo. He had to wait a long time as Telgater warmed.
Todd Hundley will lead it off for the Mets. Mets trying to save face right now. Hundley takes a strike. That was questionable, Mr. Staub. That strike.
Got to be swinging those bats, boys.
Mm-hmm. The 0-1 pitch. It's a quick breaking ball, but down in the dirt. 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike on Todd Hundley.
Navarro in the on-deck circle for the Mets. He will pinch hit next.
The 1-1 pitch, a breaking ball up high.
Close. That's the first time he didn't get a call, but he is really focused in. You got to love this.
There's the drama right there. You see that 0? No hits for the Mets. Darryl Kile putting together a fine season, his first real good season in the major leagues. 6'5", about 210 pounds. Hundley fouls the ball off to the left side, not a play.
Mixing in a fastball, it beat Hundley. That was a pretty good pitch to hit, though.
We've had some fine defensive plays in this game tonight. Cedeno making as good a play as we've seen all year.
Caminetti making 2 fine plays also at third base.
And the 2-2 pitch. Fouled off again. Todd Hundley just trying to put that ball in play.
That was not the overswing that sometimes we do see. Lenny Dykstra learned through an injury that that's how you hit.
Darryl Kile would like to have him postpone that for a little while. Curveball, 1 hopper to the shortstop. Cedeno to first, and Kile is 2 outs away from a no-no.
That ball off the bat looked like it might go up the middle, but it was not hit well. And Tito Navarro will pinch hit.
So Tito Navarro will face Darryl Kile.
Navarro was 0 for 5 in his at-bats so far this season.
How'd you like to be Butch Husky? What are you thinking about now? You're saying that, you know, this big leagues is tough. My first game.
He saw some tough breaking pitches.
Struck out 3 times as Navarro takes a heater inside. Kyle's had that explosive fastball tonight and a real good breaking ball. There's a good pinch hitter right there.
Chico Walker. He has swung the bat much better from the right side than the left.
Down and away from Navarro. 2-0. Scott's service, I'm sure, as anxious as his pitcher.
Maybe more so.
Swung on and missed. 2-1.
He challenged him.
Art Howell looking on at his big right-hander. And the 2-1 pitch. Foul out of play. 2-2.
The fans not into this as much as you would expect. There's a little bit of clapping, but we'll see if he gets the next out if they get on their feet here in the Dome.
I mentioned back in '86, the last no-hitter thrown by an Astro, Mike Scott against the Giants.
The bench kind of quiet for Houston. Anxious.
2-2 pitch. Strike 3. Kile 1 out away from a no-hitter.
He gets his 8th strikeout. We said it earlier, Francis. Tough to take anything close with 2 strikes. That was that never say die breaking ball of his that just kept coming.
An exciting moment for this guy and his teammates. You think they're keyed up defensively? How about Scott's service?
A couple of guys making novenas that it doesn't come to them.
Chico walking the bat. Strike 1 on a breaking ball.
Well, that has been his dandy today. He has used it a lot to get ahead of the hitters.
The 0-1 pitch. A lot of umpires here tonight.
Especially right now.
Just what the Mets need this season. A no-hitter thrown against them. 1-1 pitch. Strike 2.
Not a lot of movement in there. There's not a lot of cheering. I just can't believe it. Fans at least are on their feet now.
The 1-2 pitch. Swing on and miss. Strike 3. A no-hitter for Darryl Kile.
We've called a lot of things here this year, Francis. That was exciting. Some great defensive plays behind Darryl Kile.
What a feeling. And that's his girlfriend right there. Enjoying this game tonight, I'm sure. Trying to keep herself from fainting.
She's probably the most nervous wreck in the whole dome.
What a great scene. The fans behind Darryl Kile. Media on the field. What a job by the big right-hander picking up win number 15 on the season. The story during the offseason, 2 free agents, Doug Drabek, Greg Swindell. The story here tonight, a kid who was drafted in the 30th round by the Astros, Darryl Kile, throwing a no-hitter against the Mets.
Let's check the last pitch of this ball game out one more time. The curveball is what got him here, and the curveball is what gets him. Down and in, Chico Walker goes for it, and the no-hitter is in the history books.
The cameras, members of the media following Darryl Kile. A big night for the big right-hander, and there's the ball. And there's his catcher. I mentioned that scene in Yankee Stadium the other day, Jim Abbott bringing Matt Noakes out, and that was quite a scene. And Darryl Kile hugging his catcher in the dugout. And that young lady is healthy. She didn't faint, but watch her.
She's crying.
It's a great scene.
Terrific evening for the Houston Astros.
And another tough evening for the New York Mets, losing their 93rd game of the season.
Here's the last pitch of the game. The dugout has been quiet. Not anymore. They finally get some movement. People running out. Want to get in the photograph?
I love it. I like it when those pitches go right to their catcher.
Yes, I know. I can tell.
Right there, you guys.
You wanted him to carry the catcher off on his shoulders.
That's
what you
right.
wanted. Let's see the pitcher's reaction himself as he gets the no-hitter. Just a strikeout. And rightly so.
He was too calm before that pitch, wasn't he?
That's great.
So the Houston Astros, who have had their problems this season, they win their 74th game of the year, and it was a big one for Darryl Kile. And we're going to give you the final score, which seems like it's no big deal after no-hitter. Modell scoreboard, it was the Astros over the Mets, but the story was Darryl Kile. We'll be back.
We've been everywhere.
Well, that's the scene here at the Dome in Houston, surrounded by that crowd. The man of the hour, big right-hander Darryl Kile, who had nasty stuff tonight. He had a good fastball and a good curveball from the get-go, Rusty.
He did. He was extremely impressive. You can never do it on your own. It's not like you're going to strike everybody out. There was some tremendous defensive plays in the game. We'll get to those in a minute. But in a year that was not as productive as I think the Houston Astros wanted, this has got to be one of their highlights.
Oh, without a doubt. And this has been known as a pitcher's ballpark for many, many years. Not so much the past few years since they moved the fences in. This kid, Darryl Kile, did an outstanding job tonight. And as I mentioned, great stuff from the get-go. And he was in complete control. Just looking at his face before that last pitch, I couldn't believe how relaxed he looked.
Well, he was focused in pretty good. He got his 15th victory in that no-hitter tonight. I don't think I've seen any pitcher this year use the breaking ball more impressively.
Well, he had a big, big breaking ball, as you can see down there in the dugout. Media still surrounding Darryl Kile. A big night for him and for the Houston Astros. The Astros winning the ball game, but as I mentioned, having a tough season here in Houston. Darryl Kile being escorted across the field. And Rusty mentioned some outstanding plays that helped out. Cedeno made a tremendous play at shortstop, and just as importantly on that play was the first baseman, Jeff Bagwell.
It was definitely the play of the game, although the third baseman Caminetti made two fine plays of his own. We're gonna show you a couple of those plays right now. This is Eddie Murray hitting a line drive to Caminetti. They called him out. It showed that he might have trapped it, but he's smart enough to get up and throw to first. He had him either way. So that was one of the really fine plays, and it was just following that play that Cedeno makes the next play.
Well, we're showing some great defensive plays, but right now we're going to break away to go downstairs. We're going to talk to the man of the hour, Darryl Kile. And Darryl, Fran Healy with Rusty Staub. We're talking about some of the plays made behind you tonight. First off, let's talk about your stuff. You looked from the beginning like you had an outstanding breaking ball. Tell us about it.
I just think that was the whole key to the night. I was able to spot my fastball and throw my curveball when I was ahead. You got to give the credit to the team. They played unbelievable, and Scotty called a great game, and it was just a lot of fun out there tonight.
Darryl, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Russ.
Did you guys talk at all in the dugout? We took a couple of looks at you, but did you talk to your catcher in between the 8th and the 9th inning? You had kind of a long period of time because of what happened to Manzanillo.
It was just a situation. We tried not to do anything different. I was just going through my mind, remembering what I was doing well to get me to that inning, and I just tried to do the same thing.
Darryl, as far as Scott Service calling the ball game, did you shake him off much tonight?
There was a couple times. I guess the biggest part of it was in the 9th inning. The second hitter, I shook him off a couple times, and he really wanted a curveball, and I went with him, and I ended up getting a strikeout, and I'm glad he didn't let me shake him off.
Now we're going to show you a play. You tell us what went through your mind. Cedeno, we're not sure if you can see a Cedeno going in the hole and making a great play.
Unbelievable. There wasn't too many plays better than that this year.
All I can tell you on that play, it was a good replay on both ends, because Bagwell made a fine play picking that ball up out of the dirt.
That inning was just unbelievable. I made a couple of good pitches, but they were a little up, and those guys are great hitters, and they're going to put the ball in play. And Cammy and AC made 2 of the best plays of the year.
Now, we're going to show our viewers Cam and Eddie's play. I'm not sure if you can see it downstairs. Tell us about that.
It was just, I was ahead of Eddie Murray, and I threw him a fastball away. And his 2 at-bats before that one I did, and he flew out to left field, and he was all over the pitch, and he hit it hard, and I got lucky again, and Cammy was in the right place.
At what point in the game, we always talk about a pitcher knowing when he has a no-hitter going. At what point in the game did you actually start putting in the back of your mind, hey, I have a no-hitter going?
I don't know. I guess it started around the 6th or 7th inning when the fans would start yelling when I went out on the mound. It's just, I've always wondered what it'd be like, and I just tried to block everything out and just, finish the ball game and come away with the win.
More importantly, did anybody in the dugout mention it to you?
No, I guess everyone was afraid of jinxing something like that. They kind of stayed away from me.
We were kidding around about how some of the guys at least sat around you sometimes in that circumstance. I mean, you're like the bubonic plague is near you. Nobody wants to even get close.
They were sitting next to me, but I don't think they mentioned baseball one time. They were talking about everything else to keep my mind off what was going on.
Darryl, we saw last week in New York Jim Abbott embracing his catcher in front of the fans at Yankee Stadium. How important was your catcher tonight?
I've only had a short career, but tonight was probably the best ball game that Scotty's ever called. I'll tell you, I'm not going to shake him off anymore. He did a great job back there, and it was just one of them special nights.
Well, you also embraced your catcher in the dugout. I mean, there's got to be a special bond that takes place between you two.
If I know Scott, I think he's more excited about it than I am. I think a catcher kind of lives through the pitcher and what's going on out there, and he was just excited to see it done. And like I said, he called a great ball game.
Darryl, with that in mind, I'm going to tell you better get into the clubhouse because I'm sure the media has Scott Service surrounded, and right now he's taking all the credit. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
Darryl Kile, the man of the hour here at the Dome, a no-hitter for the Houston Astros. Stay with us. More from the Dome right after these messages. Well, you're looking at Scott Service, who caught the no-hitter. We thought the media would be surrounding him. They probably already have. He told them all how well he did, and now he's telling the radio station here in Houston, it was my thinking that got us through tonight. You got to do that.
I'm sure he's telling them how he did not let the pitcher call him off his curveballs.
I know. It's funny how when you're a catcher, you feel you did a magnificent job. I remember one catcher saying that had a lot to do with no-hitters that he caught. It can't be true because they catch a lot more than 1 or 2 of their career. But anyways, it's been a great night. If you're an Astro fan here in Houston, Darryl Kile throwing a no-hitter against the New York Mets, and we were showing you some fine defensive plays prior to going downstairs and talking to Darryl Kile.
Well, that's the big thing, the big zero. But I'll tell you what, the biggest thing about this game was the way he finished it. His curveball is what got him there, and we're going to show you the final out of the ball game. Throws the breaking pitch down and knee. Walker misses it. It's our Budweiser play of the game, and we'll be back after these words.
Well, back here at the Dome in Houston, Texas, Astros over the Mets, but the big story, Darryl Kile throwing a no-hitter on the other side of the field. It gets tougher and tougher for the Mets.
Yes, it does. They're going to go home. They're going to play the Chicago Cubs. Good news and bad news. Sid Fernandez is going to pitch in his regular rotation. So the little problem that he had with his shoulder when they took him out of the game seems to be all right. But there's an absence of Doc Gooden. That's the bad news.
Well, how about Butch Husky? Butch Husky was called up today. He was in Oklahoma. He said he was asleep when he got the call. He came into Houston, suited up, was kind enough to go on the pregame show. I said to him, "Are you ready?" He said, "Time will tell." And he saw some of the nastiest breaky balls.
I don't think I've ever seen any one hitter in any one night this year get as many terrific pitches by a pitcher as Husky did tonight.
He's got to be wondering, does everybody pitch like this in the major leagues? His first game, he faces a pitcher, and the guy throws a no-hitter against the New York Mets. Well, it was an eventful night here at the Dome in Houston. And the final score, it was the Astros over the New York Mets. And remember, tomorrow at 8 on At the Plate with Rusty Staub, call in and talk live with Don Ophir of the Major League Baseball Players Association. Saturday on Sportschannel, it's Dynameds Day when the Mets play the Cubs at 1:30. The telecast will be specially designed to help kids learn the fundamentals of baseball. For Rusty Staub and Ralph Kiner, this is Fran Healy saying so long until Saturday. And thanks for watching baseball on Sports Channel. Good night, everybody.